what would be in your semiconductor crisis playbook?
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. So when we kind of look at, just at the markets today in terms of semi land, I mean, clearly the trade issues have clearly intensified between the U.S. and China here over the last week or two with, Huawei, as well as, other things that have kind of arisen outside of the semi side of things. But that being said, we don't think it's a surprise that you're kind of seeing this escalating relationship amid, the COVID landscape. Now, that being said, areas that we would, or the way we would play the semiconductor market today is we've remained very optimistic on the long-term secular story related to the cloud. So names like an NVIDIA, AMD continue to be great plays. But that being said, the stories there look very overextended in terms of the multiples. And as a result, we actually think from a tactical perspective, near term, you want to look at more of the kind of cyclical plays that are out there that haven't run as much. So think about the NXP semiconductors of the world, analog devices, diodes, on semiconductor, among others.
Okay.
And then our third kind of play within, or tactical play, would be more on the 5G side of things. Great long-term secular story, as well as the potential for some great adoption here over the next 1 to 3 years. So those are the areas we would kind of be looking at and focusing right now within semis.
Sure. So kind of top level, what you're saying is your crisis playbook in a way doesn't refer so much to the coronavirus. Although it encompasses that, it also refers to the crisis with China. You mentioned 5G, and in that regard, you said Micron is one of the names to be maybe a little bit wary of because it has the most exposure to Huawei. Again, sometimes that selling pressure can create a buying opportunity. Why do you think in Micron's case it's more risky than not?
Yeah, so when we kind of look at the broader semiconductor side of things, I think one great thing most semiconductor companies have done here over the last year or so is kind of de-emphasize their exposure on Huawei, and I think clearly that has to do with the fact that we saw the ban placed in May of last year. Now, when you kind of look at Micron among some of the others out there, they've been able to find some of the loopholes out there, and as a result, they continue to have an outsized exposure to Huawei, among others out there. So, for instance, a company like Skyworks, which is where we're telling investors, if you're looking for a 5G play, is a great way to play it. They had north of 10% of sales going to Huawei a year ago. Now it's about 1 and 2% of their revenue. So a name like that is a great place, we think, to be also a great flight to safety type of name where they've got no debt, a ton of cash on the balance sheet. So a great flight to safety name.
Yeah, no debt.
Yeah. I think that's kind of how you want to look at it here.
Yeah, that's a great place to be right now. Any company, any individual for that matter. Angelo, I just want to close with a final comment on NVIDIA. You did raise the price target to 400 from 300, even after the kind of monster move that it's had. So this can, of course, be a volatile stock. I mean, just in a word, where are we in its cycle, or is it a super cycle because of where it's doing business?
Yeah, I think as far as NVIDIA is concerned, what we really love about the story here is they finally completed that acquisition of Mellanox. Gives them really a nice next leg, a nice next growth driver here for the company. As a result, we did boost our target price to $400 here. Love the data center play, the gaming play as we kind of go throughout the year on new platforms coming out. Not to mention, automotive remains a very weak area for the company. But, if you're a long-term investor out there, this is going to be a great third leg growth catalyst for the company looking out 3 to 5 years from now.
All right, Angelo, a lot of great stuff in there. Thank you for talking through it. We appreciate it.